Hello and welcome to Krona Live from the studio. Very cool to see everyone in the audience today. We have a wonderful artist here in the studio, Ben Harold. Do you want to go ahead and say hi?
Howdy. How are we doing?
I think we're doing pretty okay.
Good.
As usual, just going to let you guys know how the donations are being split up today. 50% of donations are going to Ben here today, and 50% are going to keeping the show running. Go ahead and leave a comment if you have something you want to say to Ben Harold, and I will be monitoring that. Hello, Curio. Very good seeing you. And what is your first song?
First song's called On the Run.
Very good. Actually, before we get into that, you should probably tell us about yourself so that we're not just jumping in with...
It's just a guy with a guitar. That's really all. No. What would you like to know, John? What would you like to know?
No. Oh, no, it's on me.
No, I can say I'm from Milwaukee. My band and I, we're all kind of based in Milwaukee here.
What's your band name?
They're called The Rising, so Ben Harold and The Rising.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, they're amazing guys, and we're working on a new album right now. We've got one out that we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But we have been writing and playing for many years, but really just doing this full time professionally only about 2 years. So yeah, just writing music, just playing songs, and being a big idiot on a stage.
I love it. All right. Well, play us off.
All right, man. Don't go looking at me to tell where she's going. She said she was free. Who am I to know this? She was on the run. 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 Who can stop her now? She's a long way from here. She made a vow, reconciling those years. She was on the run. 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 And there's no stopping what's resolved. And there's no silence in her call. Oh, just let her leave. Just let her leave. Just let her leave. She'll be free. Who can stop her now? She's a long way from here. She made a vow, reconciling those years. She was on the run. 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 She was on the run.
On the Run. You said this song is about a woman finding her own freedom.
Yeah, I mean, something like that.
Do you have a concept what that freedom she was trying to find actually was?
No, and I think that's kind of the point. I think it's different for everybody, right? I mean, what is my freedom compared to somebody's? What is it that? And when I say freedom, I guess I mean sort of the idea of finding who you are, finding what makes you tick, and how to do that, as much as you can, and who am I to be anyone that can tell somebody else how to do that or what to look for exactly? So it's yeah, I mean, it's really for anybody. It was a woman as a character that I kind of visualized.
Okay, so was this perhaps a culmination?
Culmination?
Sure, we'll go with that word. Culmination of a bunch of people in your life, or
Yeah, I mean, in general, we live in a very male-dominated society. So I think women, that line of who am I to know this? Like, who am I as a man to tell a woman, what's best for them?
right?
That was just kind of fighting against that in a way. So I think it was purposeful to pick a woman for that because, I have a daughter. My wife's dealt with it. My sisters, 2 sisters I have dealt with it. So it's sort of this feeling of maybe just write a song that fights against that matriarchy or patriarchy, sorry, and speak a little bit against that. Speak a little freedom into that for people.
Right. The more musicians that I'm getting through here, the more that I'm appreciating the level of thought that they put into the world that they would like to live in and the world that they would like to leave for everyone around around them. Very fortunate to have some very kind souls coming through here.
Well, I think too, the nature of music is very progressive. It's always been that way.
Right.
It's always been that way. And if it's not, it generally sucks. Honestly, I mean, what do you got? Like Kid Rock, right?
Do you think that there's something that kind of lends music to that kind of social discussion?
That's probably a great question for Woody Guthrie. I mean, just there's something about music that it's the voice of the unheard. It's a way to express all the stuff you're going through and speak out. It's like I talk about comedy and music are not necessarily 2 sides of one coin, but they're the alloy that make up the whole coin. Because you can say things with comedy and music that you just can't, that get through to people that you can't just say and get through to people speaking. But if you write a song about it, if you tell a joke about it, it suddenly can get to people. So
right.
I think that thread, that idea of how art works through music, through comedy, through other sort of practices like that, that's the nature. It's so, I mean, naturally you should write, you're just going to write about stuff like this.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Deep thoughts.
Yeah, no,
and I could be wrong about all of this because what do I know anyway?
I appreciate it though. What kind of space were you in when you were writing this song?
I was frustrated because I'd spent an hour or 2 hours trying to write songs, and I was getting nowhere. And I literally got up off my bed to put my guitar away, and I strummed those first 4 chords in the same rhythm that I played it. And I had to just sit down and finish the song right then and there. So the lyrics and the music, after an hour or 2 hours of frustration, turns into 5 minutes of just hitting the jackpot. When you hit the song, you're like, yeah, that's it. That was the reason I sat down. Okay, we're good. And then you're doubting it throughout the whole process, but it's a complete song and you like it. And yeah.
The number of people who would kill for just having that moment of a song just flowing out of you, I think
it's a cool experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a number of people come on here saying that it's sometimes like they're just someone is dictating the song to them, and they're just
the muse. We call it the muse. Yeah, it's funny. That's not how I usually work. I mean, that happens. The first album that I did, I wrote 7 songs in an afternoon. That's not usual. This new album we're working on, every song almost, except for maybe 2 or 3, including this one, were hard fought. That took months to really dig through. So you don't know how it's going to work out. You just go with it.
Do you often write multiple songs at once?
There's no right one way to do it, I don't think. It does happen that way. Sometimes it's just focused, pinpoint focus. Sometimes I'll go in thinking I'm going to write this song that I have a part for, and then all of a sudden I'm working on this one and this one. And there they are, and this song's still sitting over here completely ignored and undone. So there's no way that you can really say how it works, but that's what's happened. There's multiple ways of going about it. You just got to do it,
Yeah. I'm going to take a moment to catch up on some comments. We have Curio saying, beautiful song. We all want to escape in some way.
Yeah.
That's very, very true. Sometimes that escape can be in a healthy way, and sometimes,
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes it's just needed.
Right, yeah. Get out of a bad situation, definitely needed. But if you're running from something, it depends on what the thing is, Is it healthier to go through it, or do you need to get out of that situation?
It's true.
That's the big question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Music and comedy slide under the defenses. Is that one of the lines?
What was the line?
Music and comedy slide under the defenses.
No, that wasn't a line, but I like that.
I do like that.
Yeah.
And I like that music is the voice of the unheard. Yeah, that's a line that, or a comment that struck out to me as well. Yes, the power of music is to build bridges. Very, very true.
Yeah, definitely. There's something about art. There's something about like the riots and gatherings that you see, or protests. It all works together. There's something there that when you're unheard, those are the ways people try to be loud, and you feel a connection to those types of things.
Right.
Yeah.
What's your next song?
Next song is called Ramble and Roll.
Beautiful.
Vagabond, ramble and roll. When the Chapman comes round, you sell your soul. Well, does it feel like it's your home? Vagabond, ramble and roll. And I don't wanna be your high. And I don't wanna be your low. Someday you're gonna get there. You're gonna find your home. Vagabond, ramble and roll. vagabond, find your place. You're taking your blows and you're losing face. You can look to me for love, you can look to me for grace. But vagabond, you gotta find your own place. And I don't wanna be your high. And I don't wanna be your low. Someday you're gonna get there. I'm gonna find your home. I'm a vagabond, rambling road. And I don't wanna be your high. And I don't wanna be your low. Someday you're gonna get there. You're gonna find your home. A vagabond, rambling road. A vagabond, rambling road.
Ramble and roll, right in the title there. And that's on your first album, Solus?
Yeah, we put that out in April last year, which is like a decade ago now, right?
It feels like it.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's available in the doobly-doo
In the
description.
doobly-doo, exactly.
Website.
Right in the doobly-doo. Yeah, we have CDs, digital, we have vinyl for that one. So anything and all, you know. We even have a T-shirt for that one, which is kind of fun.
And you said that this song kind of ties in with the first song.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the commenters said something about having to escape sometimes. And I think it's that idea, too, of, you know, whether it's just a small thing or it's a major thing, you have to keep your eyes up and escape when you can and do it in a healthy way. And I think it's that idea of just finding who you are as a person and getting onto it. Don't let people stand in the way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Be a vagabond if you have to.
Yeah. We've got quite a few comments going on here. Greg Revore, very good to see you. He's asking about your guitar. You told me a little bit about it. He's asking if it's a Martin HD 28.
Very close. Yeah, no, it looks like an HD28. HD28 would be a big dreadnought, so a little bit bigger. This is it's a Martin, yes, but it is an OM28E retro. It's a lot to say. So it's based on their old 28s, OM28 model. So it's got that nice 1930s pre-war herringbone on there. Fun fact, pre-war because the Germans made herringbone trim.
Oh.
And that's why during the 40s and 50s, you really didn't get herringbone. It wasn't available. So this is based off of that design, but the E-Retro has to do with their Aura system they put in here, which is, I could nerd about that all day. Fishman mic'd their original museum piece with like 12 vintage microphones and then took that sound and put it into here. So you get a lot of fun tones out of this thing that I have a blast with. I've had it for about 5 years now, and I love it.
Mixing it together with the live mic is just giving it a lot of body.
It has, and that's why it sounds like a big old dreadnought. So I could see why it'd say HD28. I had an HD35, so same thing, big, wide, woofy sound. You know, this one here is her name's Lorraine. If you're wondering. She's named after my dearly departed grandma, who was very short and very loud, and she liked to sing. So it was fitting. So thanks for the question.
Yeah. And Ken Zabler saying that this is such a great format for showcasing singer-songwriters. Best format they've seen. And Ben sounds great as always.
Well, that's nice of him. Ken is actually my guitarist and recording art guy. So
oh, that is so cool.
Ken Zabler, shout out to the man, the myth, the legend that is the bearded one. He does sound too at Northwestern. So
beautiful.
If he's giving that compliment, you can feel really good about what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. It really, really means a lot. And I hear that you have quite a taste in Sonic toys, so.
Sonic toys?
Sonic toys, mics and whatever.
The Sonic toys. I was thinking Sonic the Hedgehog.
No.
Yes, he does. Look at the mics, Ken. Enjoy them. Love them. Recognize the stand?
Oy.
It's going to turn into something. Actually, we didn't give him a microphone for the longest time because this is what would happen, and I apologize. I'll stop.
And Tom Weber is saying he likes the grit in the song.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
You have a lot of grit in your voice and a lot of the music that you play.
Thank you.
And it lends itself, the dynamic range that you're able to produce lends itself to a lot of depth in how you're...
Thank you. Yeah, that's years of trial and error. I don't even like to go back and listen to how, I've just spent years just destroying my voice and then doing it properly and learning proper techniques. So it's been, just practice. This is the last couple, maybe 4 years new to me. So, this is development over time. So I love that grittiness you hear in certain singers' voices. Yeah. So I'm trying to copy a little bit and add my own thing.
I mean, you need a little bit so that you can, it gives a little bit of interest.
You got to dig in a bit sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. And use it well, you can't just keep doing it, which I had a period, it was disastrous.
Right.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that comment. That's a voice for me has been a big work in progress. So that I really appreciate that coming from you. I wanted to point out Anon E. Mouse. It's a great name. Thank you for the donation. Really appreciate it. And Ken, appreciate you too, brother.
Right.
And Anon, yeah, I hope to see you too at their band someday. I really miss being able to play with a crowd in front of us,
Yes.
Miss that.
Yeah.
Sure.
We do have a question here from Ken saying, how can I donate?
He got it.
Oh, fantastic.
I see it now.
Okay. I'll still say it down below in the description, or if you're on the Krona stream website, right below the stream, you should see something that says donate. It's krona.net/tip. And where are the stream tips going this week?
The stream tips, yes. So this is what we talked about before, right?
I think. I mean,
think so.
it's up to you. I mean, I know that 50% is going to you, 50% is going to stream. But
I'm taking some of the tips and I'm donating half of those to the NAACP of Milwaukee. As a musician, it's pretty obvious that a lot of music that we've been using for years as white folks has come from Black people.
Yeah.
They created a lot of the genres. They've created a lot of the stylings and the way you sing. We define our style as rock, folk, soul. You can't get away from Black music in any of those categories as far as where it originated from. And so, and I'm not a big artist. There's a push to have licensing companies take percentages from artists to give back to Black communities. And I love that. I support that 100%. I know the guys from Jeff Tweedy from Wilco was pushing that. I know like Jason Isbell is pushing that. But as a smaller artist, this is one way I feel like I can, return the favor of just the amazing and incredible origination of music and singing styles that I borrow, even if it's unknowingly.
Right.
To give back and say, like, you deserved something for this.
Right.
And you never got it, but I can give back now.
Yeah.
So, that's the plan for half of these tips that I'll be bringing home.
I really appreciate that. I appreciate the thoughtfulness that all of these artists have brought to the table thus far, and I want to keep that going. So thank you for being a part of that.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't my idea, but I really didn't want to hesitate to jump on that right away. So, yeah, for sure.
All right. The next song.
Sounds good. Let's hit it up.
Yeah.
Just one more night in the city lights. Saw you shine so bright, now it's gone. Never felt home here. In this place you can disappear. Bus full of people, but you still fear that you're alone. What's done is done, what's gone is gone. What's done is done, what's gone is gone. In this living room, on your voice is the sound of doom. Wondering if it will end real soon. Feeling strong in the broken mess is flowing like a summer dress. In the wind you see the simpleness and all that's wrong. What's done is done, what's gone is gone. 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 What's done is done, what's gone is gone.
What's done is done. What's gone is gone. um. So, when you were writing the song, did you find yourself having to let go of some things?
So this one is going to be on the new album, but I think it came out. I think I wrote this one pretty early, coming out of that last album, and in a lot of ways, I was transitioning out of a career, out of an old kind of a different way of living, and just sort of found myself thinking about that idea of letting things go, because I think to answer your question simply, fear was something I think I had to let go of. I remember somebody saying that an artist that I liked had said something about when they go into the studio, they abolish fear from their writing. And that to me was something I had never done. It was always a very fearful process. And I think in the process of making the first album, I learned that I had to trust my instincts. I had to trust my own personal idioms, and I had to let go of the fear because it was so unfounded. And then having the right people in your life that can help you through that. But yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of things I had to work through at that period in my life. So yeah.
Do you have any wisdom for people who maybe perhaps identifying kind of being in that point in your life, and B, how to then transition through that?
I feel for you. I've been there, and a lot of people are there. I think just be honest, and I think, I mean, I can't say exactly for everybody's personal situation, but to do whatever it takes to hang out with the right people that will encourage you in the process, to take the leap. And if you're a creative person, I think one of the best bits of advice I ever got was, and it was kind of funny. It kind of slapped me in the face. Somebody was talking about, to do this, I'd have to quit my job. I'd have to do blah, blah, blah. And the guy that was talking is a philosopher guy. He goes, it always baffles me how creative people make that argument. I'd have to leave this job. He goes, you're creative people. Get creative. And I think to me, it was what I needed, to be, okay, whoosh, wake up. I can get creative about how I live life. It doesn't have to be done by the status quo. There is no set right way to do life. And I've always been a little bit the kind of person likes to buck the system anyway. A little bit rebellious when it comes to people telling me what to do, which can be positive and negative. But I think for me, it was what I needed to say. Like, I need to just get over myself in some ways and get creative about how I do things. And that, I would never say that to somebody personally, because that could be very callous in the wrong situation. But where I was in that moment, and if people are there in that moment, take it for what it's worth. It helped me. It got me moving in the right direction. Yeah.
Appreciated. What's done is done. What's gone is gone. It's sometimes a hard fact to digest. You gave it power in the song. And that's from one of the commenters.
Oh, cool. Thank you. Yeah. It is a hard thing to digest. For sure. For sure. And I think we it's a never-ending process too.
Yeah. Even once you're out of that one of those situations, you're still continuing.
Right.
Growth should never end.
Right. It's right. That's a great way to say it. Perfectly said.
So, there's no right way to do life. I needed to hear that today.
Oh man, I'm glad. I'm glad you heard it. I dropped my pick. Sorry. Yeah, I hope that encouraged you, because I needed that too at one point.
Yeah. All right. So, if they're wanting to go ahead and support you after this show this week is done, best way to go about doing that?
There's multiple ways. You can donate to our PayPal, bandherald83@gmail.com. I think that's posted somewhere. Maybe not.
The website is.
The website.
I can, if you remind me, I can put the PayPal down in the
there you go.
description too.
The bigger thing, well, I mean, just as equal, if you want to get something in return for how you could support, you can go to our website, go to our store, buy an album. Solace is out there. You could buy a shirt. You could buy a pin or 2 or 3. You could buy some stickers. We've got a couple of things on there that you could do. If you want to donate, there's a contact at the bottom of our website. Feel free to just send us a line and we'll get back to you. You can join our mailing list too, keep updated on things. Website's really the hub for all of it. Friend us on Facebook or Instagram or any number of the Twitters and whatnot. And we're a band that likes to communicate and meet up with our fans online. So if you got any questions and you do want to help out, everything that you give is going to really help us make this next album that we're working on right now possible. And so we appreciate any and all. And if we can give you something in return, like some merch, more power to you, man. We want to give that to you. So, yeah.
Do you have a song off of that new album?
Yeah, that last one was, and the first one was as well, and this next one's going to be as well.
Beautiful.
Feel that needle digging in, and that heartache, then it breaks the skin. You're always guessing where you stand in this room full of strangers, watching all you did. Maybe they hate you, they just don't know that you live. But you keep on trying, though the needle goes in. You feel like you're breaking, jumping out of your skin. Needles in your heart again. Feel that needle digging in. Same old heartache, like when you were a kid. In this room full of old strangers, you never fed. It's your time to leave them, just like your daddy did. Nobody hates you, they just don't know that you live. But you keep on trying, though the needle goes in. You feel like you're breaking, jumping out of your skin. The needle's in your heart again. heart again. Woo-hoo.
Needle. And that's on the not yet new album.
It's coming along. We started last week. Or
Right.
Last week?
You said 2 weeks ago.
Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks
Either
ago.
way, it was very recently.
What is time?
I don't know. I'm
Doesn't matter
unable
anymore.
to live in a linear time fashion.
Pretty much, yeah. A new life.
This song has quite a powerful story behind it. Do you want to share that?
Sure. So this song, Needle is not has nothing to do with drugs. I know that's usually the first assumption. You know how like pins have that little needle on the back of them. So a good friend of mine, I won't share his name or anything, but this is really his story because he was telling me one day that, and he told me I could share this, by the way, but when he was about 5 or 6, his dad passed away from cancer, and he did not have a very great relationship with anyone in his family apart from his dad and his much older stepbrother, and he didn't even get to say goodbye to his dad. He was just told his dad was sick and in the hospital, and next thing he knew, he was at the funeral. And he didn't really know what was going on. And finally, his brother, his older stepbrother, brought him into the room where his father was, just the two of them. And his older stepbrother handed him a pin and said, "This is Dad's favorite pin, and we want you to put it on him." And, you know, he was tentative. He didn't want to hurt his dad. And he said, "It's okay, just stick it in there. You won't hurt him." And he just, as a 5-year-old, he just jabbed it in, didn't know any better. He's just a kid, right?
Right.
And fast forward, his brother, a different brother, biological brother, was getting married, and there was a really big mess, and just things were not good, treating him kind of like garbage in the process, and was eventually told, he's not going to be in the wedding, and that's fine. He'll just show up at the wedding. So he shows up at the wedding late because weddings start late, and immediately starts getting berated. And they were saying, where were you? You're supposed to be in the wedding. And before he knows it, he's getting a boutonniere put on him and pinned on him, and he's walking down the aisle with his cousin towards the altar. And he's bleeding because they jabbed the pin in a hurry in his chest. And he gets up to the front, and he's standing there, and he's in a daze, just confused about what's going on. And he's looking around him. He's 35 now at this point, and he realizes he hasn't seen this group of people since his dad's funeral. And the pin that they jabbed in him is in the exact same place where he put the pin on his father. And it was just this needle is this metaphor and literal idea of like, it's like this family has been stabbing him in the heart his whole life.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's like it's connected. That's the one connection he had was with his dad. And it's like I can understand now my dad and what he's gone through, being a part of this, and who I am and a part of this. Or at least it just connected him to his dad a little bit, but also let him know he needs to get out of here. He needs to not be a part of this anymore. And he got married last month.
Oh, good.
He's happy. He's moving to a new state where he can do what he's always wanted to do. So his life has really been going well in the last few years of his life here, and same age as me, and he's a really good guy and I want the best for him. But I actually wound up writing about 4 songs around this idea completely, and just couldn't nail down the right feel, the right words, and I overcomplicated it. It had so many words in most of the songs, and then with this one, it was like just strip away all the words and get down to the raw emotion of what you're feeling in that moment. And so it had to be a song where it was just loud and yelling and releasing and very few words, and just move past all that. And so I shared this song with him, and he really likes it. And I was glad that he he appreciated it. And yeah, and anyone that can relate to that kind of a thing, you know, it's such a hard situation to be in.
Yeah. How many years difference was it between the funeral and the wedding?
About 30.
That remembering that is
vividly. Yeah, when he told me that story, I had goosebumps because it was just like, wow.
That is,
and
it's intense.
If he could tell it, he tells his story much more powerfully than I can relay it. But I just immediately knew that needed to be spoken and needed to be released. So, yeah, it's powerful.
How is it writing a song about a story that is not your own?
Yeah, I mean, you always find those points of a connection in your own life, if you can. But also, in some ways, it's easier because you're, I think, a little more objective, and you can see kind of all the different aspects and angles, and then you can see the deeper stuff beyond that, like the idea of like this song needs to be an angry song, it needs to be a heavy, hard song. You know, this is when we do it live with the full band. This is we blow the speakers out. We're gonna kick you in the face with this song because that's the emotion it needs. And I think if you're too close to it, at least for me personally, if I'm writing a song like this about myself, I tend to be very introspective. I tend to be very, write it in a very, and a lot of the songs that I wrote before I got to this one were very like that. They were very calm. They were a lot of minor chords, but not powerful, just very like deep. And I think there's a place for that. But writing for somebody, somebody else's story, I think opens up a lot of worlds that you couldn't see otherwise. Yeah.
I have to imagine that there's difficulty in wanting to do right by the song, right by that memory, that story, that you have someone else's experience in your own hand there. And that's got to be a lot of pressure on you. And at the same time, you're not the one who's lived through that experience, and so there also has to be a certain level of distance that comes along with that.
Yeah, I mean, you do connect. Like I said, you connect the parts of you that fit within that, and I was able to. I didn't have the best upbringing, so there were parts that I could connect with and really relate with in that story. Certainly with how he was treated in some ways, and that's not all my family. That was predominantly with my dad, but we it is hard, but I never thought about that during the process. In fact, I just wrote because I felt like it just needed to be written, and then I gave it to him, and I wanted him to hear it and let me know if it landed the way I thought it did. You never want to write somebody else's story, and then you send it to them, and then they go, well, that's not what I was thinking. That's not what I feel. But if it's something that they go like, this really is where I am, and this is what I really am thankful for it, and to be able to do that, it was nice to hear that from his side. So I don't think I really think about anything other than just writing the story, telling the story in the best way where this fits with what I'm saying. And then I leave it at that, and then leave it to the person to decide if it was right or wrong.
That's beautiful. You said you like writing songs that leave you in a moment and don't have a conclusion. Yeah. You'd said that, before this stream. That struck me as very powerful, and can you unpack that for me a little bit?
Yeah. I think when I was first writing as a kid, you try to write a full story, beginning, middle, end, conclusion type of thing, And I've come to learn in time that to sit on an emotion or to sit on and just plant in a song on a feeling, and and you see this from some really great artists out there, like John Mayer will take the word gravity and he'll sit on gravity for an entire song and everything that revolves around that. Not only as a good practice in songwriting, but also just, I think emotionally, we can be too eager at times to try to move through things when it does us more justice emotionally, therapeutically, to sit on an issue and work through it and say all the aspects about that need to be said. And just let it hang, because songs end, but stories don't, and they continue to go on. You will move on eventually, but I think when you're telling a story, some of the most powerful things, it's like, well, hold on, you said this about this person. Let's park there for a while, because that's a novel. When you read books, you don't usually have a story that is like beginning, middle, and conclusion as far as someone's whole life. You can have those, but I think the most interesting stories to read are the ones that center in on a moment in time. And same thing with music, and center in on a moment in time, an emotion that they're feeling, a thing they're going through. Those to me are more interesting because I think it's more honest. I think not more honest, but it really gives you, I think, a better forum to communicate, because there's a lot of people going through that one thing, and maybe it's important for them to hear that thing right now. And it's surprising how you could be singing about something very like this is kind of sad, but you can find hope in that by planting on that thing, even if it's really sad, it baffles the mind. There's the untouchable thing about music, but it can give you hope. Like, oh, I'm not the only one dealing with this. Oh, okay, there is a way out of this eventually. Like I said, he's gotten married, he's moving, he's happy. Mm-hmm. So he didn't plant his life on this, but this story's worth telling. It's worth planting on it for a while, focusing on this emotion in time, because it said everything he needed to know to become a happier person. So I guess that's where I kind of land on it, with staying in the moment and staying in the time.
Well, you capture those moments very beautifully.
Thanks.
Yeah. Just gonna catch up on comments for a second.
Sure. There's nobody like, boo.
No one. In fact, there's a lot of clapping. Thumbs up and clapping.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks.
Those are ones that are a little harder to translate. I mean,
just give me one of these.
Right. In the process of working out the arrangements with your group.
Yeah.
Okay. On this song.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing during the song, it was very strange. I felt like I heard some electric guitar as you were playing. I'm like actually in there, some distortion. I don't know how. I can tell you there's none on my board. So
maybe Kenny hacked us. I don't know. That's funny. No, I try to mimic a little bit, and then I try to add a little thing here and there with my own. I'm not a great lead guitarist. I'm working on that, but I try to add some things. But it's funny that you say that, because there's times where I'm playing songs and I can hear it too. I can hear a string section, or I can hear an electric guitar, and I self-taught in a lot of ways, so I try to play this thing like it's a full band anyway. But that's just the way I learned it on my own. So I don't know. I can't explain it. Maybe the ghosts are in here with me too. Who knows?
It was very, very vivid.
Nice.
Hearing that. So
nice. I'd like to hear that.
What a powerful story, and what a powerful metaphor.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you could hear it, and I'm glad that people are picking up on that too.
Love the respect of sitting with emotion and honoring the gift it brings.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of saying it. I love that. The gift it brings, totally. It's a hard thing sometimes, but yeah, it's a gift. It's a gift, for sure.
And we are also getting confirmation, absolutely no booze.
Oh, fantastic. Just in my head then. No.
Yeah. So we have about 30 minutes left.
Okay.
I'm letting you know that because I know that you had wanted to perform at some point during the night, not necessarily now.
Yes.
So if there's any shifting around of things, that's okay.
Okay, yeah. Let's. I'm gonna do one called "Melody in Silence" then next.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Beautiful.
I got my other bandmate here. Oh, this is gonna be really difficult. Hold on one second. I didn't think about this part.
No, it's okay. During this, we are going to just take a moment to remind everyone that please share the stream and donate if you're able. 50% of donations are going to supporting this wonderful artist for their time, and the other half going to keeping this show running. And if you're not able to do that during this time, or if you're watching the stream later, please check out his website and buy some merch, buy some CDs, support the artists because, they're just absolutely amazing music.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Melody in silence makes a way. Focusing her thoughts on the rain. And buses pass on by, taking people back home. See the lines on the sidewalk match the scars on her soul. Till someone looked her in the eye, and she heard the love. She heard the love. She heard love all around her. Melody in silence takes a sip. Reminding her of all those long past summer trips. She's shaken by the horns and the yelling on the road. Shaken from the loneliness and the cold. Someone takes her by the hand, and she heard love. She heard love. She heard love all around her. All around her. All around her. love. All around her.
Melody in Silence. And that's a new song going to be available on the new album whenever that comes out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, new song.
Mm.
I'm going to take these off real quick.
No, that's okay.
And we're back.
You make great use of repetition in your music to highlight different points.
Never thought about it like that. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that phrase, "she heard the love," I think is a powerful phrase. So, how better could you say it?
Mm-hmm. It's very often in music, the words are very fleeting. And sometimes we need to hear the same words over and over again until it finally sinks in.
That's a good way of saying it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know I do. I've always appreciated songs that do that well. Just kind of keep hammering away and putting that feeling and thought into your head. So I'm riding again on the backs of so many great artists that have come and written some amazing songs. And I've learned a lot just from listening to so many people. You've had a bunch of people in here that I really respect and appreciate the last few weeks. So, I mean, it's fun to just be a part of that, be a little part of being able to do this, make music. It's just it's a cool thing,
I feel honored to be in here showcasing so many wonderful artists.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great. I'm glad you're doing it. I really appreciate it too. Yeah. Oh, I want to say thanks, GR. Thank you. I'll keep playing as well as I can, just for you.
So this song, what inspired it?
I had met a couple of homeless fellas at outside of Landmark Lanes downtown in Milwaukee, and got to talking with them, grabbed a bite to eat, and just get to know each other a little bit. And so often I've noticed as I talk to people who are homeless that there's a theme of just being acknowledged as a human, being treated as a human is so important to everyone, but especially if you're on the streets, it's so easy to walk by somebody. It's so easy to ignore them. I've done it. I know I'm not like a hero here. But as I talked to them, it was just that idea of like, the biggest thing that they wanted was just someone to look them in the eye, someone to take them by the hand, someone to just be with them. And I just feel like that needs to be said. And so this song, this idea of melody and silence, melody, I came up is a woman's name. And I said, the story's about her. But in a sense, she's playing the role of these two gentlemen, Mississippi and Raphael, which I think are the greatest names of people I've met in the last decade. But
does her name have significance?
Yeah, and it does. And I'm glad you asked that, because melody, obviously is a double entendre. It means a couple of things in the sense that, it's just a name, but it's also, I feel like anybody you meet, I don't know if this is just how I think, but when I meet people, I almost hear a song. Like, oh, what's their song? What's their music that's playing behind them? Everyone's got a different personality, different character, and I feel like there's a melody that's playing in everyone's life. And for me, it's this idea of melody and silence. Is like, here's this person, there's a song being played, but it's being played in silence. No one's listening. No one's hearing the beauty that's coming from this person because of the circumstances of their life. And a lot of times, they're a victim of circumstance.
Right.
So I just feel like, draw this idea out to like, we all have a melody, no more than the poorest person on the street and the richest person in a mansion. We all have a melody playing in our lives. We all have something that's beautiful to be heard. Even some people you really have to dig hard to find that beautiful melody, but I think everyone's got something in there. Some people work really hard at hiding that. And so, but just to say, in this particular case, here's people that there's a beautiful song to be sung. And if you would just stop and listen and pay attention, and I'm saying that to myself, if I just stop and listen, maybe what could I learn? What could I hear from this person? So that's kind of the meaning behind the name melody, as well as the whole theme of the song. And
it's a beautiful point of view.
Well, and I don't even remember, honestly, how I came to that. I think it just all, again, the muse, it just all kind of blurred out right on the page. That term, melody and silence, was the first line I wrote. And I didn't know, it just kind of came. I didn't think about it. It just, there it was.
And in silence, do you want to touch on that?
Yeah,
part a little bit.
Yeah, it's just the idea of being ignored. A homeless person is so easy to just walk by without giving them time of day. So in silence, it's like they have a song, but are we listening?
Okay.
They're singing it on their own. They're in quiet. Or maybe we did hear it, but they're just talking to themselves. So it's just this idea of like, let's listen. Let's hear people. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks. So how much time we got now? I want to make sure I work this out right.
We got 21 minutes.
Okay.
19 minutes.
Refresh.
Right. Refresh on myself.
Okay.
Just quickly reading through comments, just to make sure I'm not ignoring.
Yeah.
I can imagine any one of these songs getting wide play on the radio. Great songwriting and delivery.
Thank you very much.
And repetition can be a crutch to cover the idea that the musician has little to say.
Yeah.
But no so with you, Ben.
Oh, thank you.
This is an art.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really worked hard at it. I really appreciate it. And we're trying to get on the radio as much as we can, for sure. We'll make a big push with this new album.
Greg Revore coming in with very nice, soulfully sung.
Thank you. I'm assuming that's GR.
I'm going to guess so.
Thank you, Greg. I really appreciate it. Like I said, this is a process. This album has been a lot of work, really hard work writing these songs. And apart from 2 or 3 of them, none of them came real easy. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for the words. So I figured what I would do is maybe do the song that no one's ever heard before.
Yeah, please.
This will be a premiere here. This one I wrote in the midst of the coronavirus, when I was feeling particularly down about not being able to be with people, not being able to, not lamenting it in that, oh, woe is me. It was all of us. We're all in the same boat. We all want to be around people, but understanding that we can't be. And then I kind of went into the hopeful direction. Like, that day's coming, and we'll celebrate. It's going to be great. And this is about life in this time. And I put the metaphor of she as life. And there's this old, it's from the 30s. There's an old saying, it's still around now, but it's steady as she goes. I remember, I loved the Three Stooges as a kid, and growing up, my kids like them. And there's this phrase that you hear in these old movies: steady she goes, steady she goes. It's like, keep holding on to the reins, steady. It's going to work. Keep it going. So it's this idea of, life, steady as she goes. She'll get there. We'll get to that place. Be patient, be hopeful, and continue to be a human in the midst of it. So that's what the song's called, Steady She Goes.
Beautiful.
Meet me at the corner that everyone knows. heading to the future, steady as she goes. See the smiling faces and the tapping toes, a place down ways before us, steady as she goes. In the times can break your heart, and the times can steal your fire, and the times can crush your soul. But oh, steady as she goes. So meet me at the waters where you cried so, stare into the distance, steady as she goes. In times of desperation, all you got is hope. Pour it out together, steady as she goes. In times can break your heart, and the times can steal your fire, and the times can crush your soul. Oh, steady as she goes. So meet me at the corner that everyone knows, heading to the future, steady as she goes. See the smiling faces and the tapping toes, a place down ways before us, steady as she goes. Times can break your heart, and the times can steal your fire, and the times can crush your soul. It's just a moment though. Oh, steady as she goes.
Steady as she goes. What do you miss most about socializing in person?
I just am seeing people's faces, you know, and I'm actually an introvert by nature, but only borderline. But you know, I miss those close relationships and those times that you could just spend together, having a scotch or something, or just especially being an artist, being able to be in front of people
Mm.
and sharing your craft and your art and seeing people respond. I miss that a lot. Um, yeah, and seeing family that you can't see. You know, I can't go and visit my grandma, can't go and visit my uncles, just for their safety and for my families. So I think those types of things are really forefront of my mind when I wrote the song, and I think a lot of people are missing all that stuff too. So, but like I said, I just had to cap off the end of the song with that idea of it's just a moment though. in the grand scheme of things, it's just a moment. And maybe we can look back at this time and realize, as hard as it was, there was a lot of necessary that came out of it in order for us to shift forward. Martin Luther King Jr. always said that justice is long but bends toward. It's the road is long but bends towards justice, and I've always felt that about just life in general. You can't get in the way of this thing that's moving progressively forward. People becoming a world that's more equitable, that is more caring and loving towards our neighbors and people around us. I don't think you can get in the way of that. It just keeps moving along forward. So part of that steady as she goes is that idea of like, hey, listen, this is going to be a time that we look back at, but we maybe because of it, we can be more equitable people. We can be a people who cares about our world a little bit more than we did. Maybe we can care about each other a little bit more than we do right now. And this is a good time to learn how to do that. So, steady as she goes. I want us to, it's life. Life's going to keep moving us forward. I still feel like that's happening, and even if it's hard to believe sometimes, and I have to convince myself, that's where I think we are, and I'm hopeful.
Just a moment.
Just a moment. Yeah. I keep dropping my pick. Just a moment. I'm back.
So you are.
All right.
The song and much of what Ben does sits somewhere between Counting Crows and Van Morrison.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll take both of those.
And the cadence and the melody and words reinforces the messages steady as she goes.
Well, thank you. I will take both of those anytime. That's fine with me. Absolutely.
And then comment, that was the bomb.
Yeah, and I screwed up one of the verses, but it worked fine, But when we release it, you'll get to hear the full version of it, and we're really
it's the difference between the live version and
exactly,
It's how you sell records.
That was this version, and now you get to hear another version. No, they're pretty damn close. Yeah, that was that. It's the point gets across no matter what, So.
I'm figuring we have about 7 minutes left.
Okay.
So how about play us out?
Sure, I can happily do that. You want me to introduce the song a little bit? Because I don't know if it's a full 7 minutes, but I can give a quick introduction and then.
If you would like, go for it.
So this song is called "Just a Ghost," and I wrote this one. This is going to be on the new album. I've played a lot of new album songs. Would love for you to hear the album Solace as well, so go to the website, but benharoldmusic.com. Self-promotion. Down below, thank you. This song was written about, it was originally practicing how to write narratively, but it actually became a very important song to me. It was about my mom, who was raising 4 kids on her own. Strong woman. She was a musician too. She gave up a lot of what she wanted for our well-being and so that we could succeed. And so the way I thought about that was that she really became a ghost of who she was. And I think there's a lot of people that this song is for those who give up of themselves to help others succeed. You might be a ghost of yourself, again, sitting on that moment. Because when the song ends, life can still go on. That's not the end of the story. But I do want to just be like, I recognize that in her and other people who give up of themselves, to become a ghost of themselves. But because of that, I'm sitting here and I'm playing this song right now. And her life can go on too, and she can become who she wants to be. And it's a song of appreciation and love and respect for people that do that. So it's called Just a Ghost. never said I didn't ask for this, but it was right there on her lips. Dirt poor and raising four on her own. It's just the season that I'm in, she said, with a crooked grin. But seasons don't change much where I live. Days are long and years are short, the needle's on the record. You'll be fine someday, you tell your soul. Talk of hope just makes you bored when it's never getting better. You live someday, now you're just a ghost. Yeah, you're just a ghost. I'm not fooling anyone, I guess, just trying to do my very best. She made her point with a half-hearted laugh. And maybe things could change real soon and she'd be twirling round a quiet room. But that may never be what she gets. Days are long and years are short, the needle's on the record. You'll be fine someday, you tell your soul. Talk of hope just makes you bored when it's never getting better. You live someday, now you're just a ghost. Yeah, you're just a ghost. These are long years are short, the needle's on the record. You'll be fine someday, you tell your soul. Talk of hope just makes you bored when it's never getting better. You live someday, now you're just a ghost. You live someday, now you're just a ghost. Yeah, you're just a ghost. Just a ghost.
Just a ghost. Thank you, Ben, so much for coming on the stream today.
Thank you for
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone that's tuned in and listened. I really appreciate it.
Once again, please share this stream around if you've enjoyed it. Share the music around. Donate below and check out Ben Harold's music. Next week, we have Serenine. She's an autistic, intersex, transgender artist. And this one, she's going to be, she's from out of state, so unfortunately we can't get her in the studio today. But she's going to have some very deep, raw music talking about her awakening, self-awakening and self-reflection. And I'm expecting that to be a very, very interesting show.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys next week at 5:00 p.m. CDT. So, thank you guys, and we will see you next time.